once again.
So here's our car we've come to at the moment. It's a VW Passat 2-litre TDI, and we're going to do a full service on the engine. Get the bonnet open. Looks nice and clean. Got a little bit of a squeak down there from the bottom. We're going to change the fuel filter. We're going to change the air filter in here. We're going to change the cabin filter inside, and we're going to change the engine oil. So first we're going to get the oil out here with this extraction pump. Some people will say, you know, they prefer taking the oil out from the sump or whatever, which we do normally on some cars, but today we're just going to let it come out on this, and you can believe me, it does take the oil out just as well as opening the oil sump. So while that's draining, it just gives us a chance to carry on with some other stuff. Now we can open the fuel filter. We'll open all of these screws there and get this in. Get this filter housing open. Put a roll of tissue just around there. Shouldn't really spill much, but this lifts it out, and we can get a new one back in there nice and slowly. We'll put those bolts back on. Now we'll put the bolts back on, and we can move over to the air filter box. Then we'll just get these torque bolts out. Get all of these open. We can get the old filter out. Let's have a look at it. It's not in terrible condition. Just take any particles of dirt out that's in there. Let's just get our new filter seated in. Close that down, get those bolts back up. Now we can hear our oil extraction pump there is finished. You can hear it just sucking air now. Now we're going to jack the car up and get the oil filter off from underneath. But that's underneath the car, so we're not going to be able to record that bit. Once the oil filter is done, let the car back down. And it's not in too bad a condition. Now we can fill the oil up. It takes about 5.5 litres. Now we're going to come inside the car to change the cabin filter. It's inside the glove box. And we'll pull that old cabin filter out and get a new one in. Got a new one here, and you can see the airflow comes in from this direction, so this is going to be the top. And that's the cabin filter all done. And remember, this is just a quick walkthrough of this car. If you want a full detailed walkthrough on a VW Passat B8, we have a full video on our VW playlist. Now that's all done on this one, we can pack up our tools and we'll see you with the next vehicle. Here's the next car, a Kia Picanto. I'm going to do a wheel bearing. So I've got the wheel off, and we're going to take off these two bolts, 17mm, to release the hub from the car there. Once we've got these loose, just put that back in temporarily, and we're going to open the caliper holder bolts down here. They're 17 as well. Remove the track rod bolt. Remove the hub bolt. Remove the hub sensor. Remove the bottom ball joint bolt. We just put a screwdriver in there to spread it apart. Get our ball joint splitter tool in here. Now we're just going to use this bearing press tool to remove the bearing here. So we've got the old bearing out, new bearing in. Now we'll reassemble it all back together. All done. All done. We'll see you at the next car. Here's our next car. We're looking at a BMW 5 Series. It's stalled out on the road. He's fitted a new battery. It's made it a couple of miles up the road and it's stalled out again. Another mechanic's fitted the battery for him and programmed it, but we're going to have a look at what's going on. So we're just getting inside the car and he's not getting any ignition. Nothing on there. So what he's saying is some garage has fitted a battery and then the car cut out down the road. He had someone come out, reprogram the battery in, and then it worked for a few days. Now the car's died out again and he's got no ignition again. So it looks like he's got some sort of earthing problem or something like that. So we're going to look in the boot where the battery is. It's usually something like in there. These BMWs, not on the 5 Series but the 3 Series, usually has a water ingress in the boot which causes a bad earth. Just going to do a battery test. So the battery is good. Just over here, found a loose cable. So not too sure who fitted the battery, but I'm gonna get that tightened up. So we've just tightened that up. You can see there now it's tight. So we'll go back inside and check the ignition. Now we're getting the ignition on. Turning over, but the battery seems a little bit weak. Just got our battery booster up on the front connection here. Now we're going to try that. It's turning over. No starting, so we're going to plug some diagnostics in. I'm just running a diagnostic scan. False there. Glow plug, digital oil sensor, immobilization, tempering. Just gonna reset all of these because that loose connection probably setting all of this off. Gonna program in the battery. We're getting this message here on the scanner here, so we're gonna go and have a look at the battery sensor. Just reset the DDE. We've checked all the fuses, they're all working, so it looks like it just needs a new CAS module. So unfortunately when this was moving around as he's driving it sparking, you can see it was causing some heat there, sort of melting a little bit, and it's obviously done some damage to the control module, so he's going to get a replacement unit and call us back. Now on this BMW, it looks like there's a problem with the that module, so we're going to have to again send this one away to we're going to point him in the direction of an auto electrical specialist. If not, if he can get a replacement module, we can fit that and reprogram it. As far as I know, it has to be a brand new module for us to program it in. We can program in a second-hand one, and we'll see what his decision is on that, and if we need to come back to it, we will. So now we're going to make our way to the next car, and we'll see you at that one. So here we've just arrived at our next car here, Toyota Yaris. and we're going to have a look at what's going on with this. He says he can't get it in gear. So we're going to start the car up. That's the diesel. Not that that makes any difference. And let's have a look. Okay, he seems to be going into gear. So I'll just go and have a chat with this customer and ask him exactly what's going on. Okay, so what he said is it will go into first gear, but his problem is when you're coming from second to first. So we're going to try that, give it a drive. Now we're in second. And we'll try and slow down and put it into first. Yep, and he's absolutely right. It's not going into first gear now. Okay, so we'll have a look at this. So basically with this, what we need to figure out is it not going into gear because of the gear linkage, or is it clutch related or gearbox related? So first thing you need to check is putting your foot all the way down on the pedal and just seeing how far the pedal travels up before it bites. It's biting right in the center there, so it's the biting points are around perfect. I've just got the gator up here to have a look inside to see if we can notice anything wrong. So what I've noticed is if we put the car into reverse and then go back to first, it will work. But once you're driving, if you've come from second gear, it will not go back into first. You come over to reverse and then come out, it'll go in. I'm going to remove the airbox and the battery to get down inside where the gear linkage is and have a look at what's going on. Now we've got all of this mess out of the way, we can have a look inside at the gear linkage. Let's move it to the left. Are you moving it? You moving the gear lever to the left? Yeah. To the left position? To the right? To the left again? And forward and back. Okay, get an idea. So the left and right one is over here, just underneath. Some white lithium grease in here. Just take it for a quick drive again. Let's see what happens. And again, yeah, it doesn't want to go in first gear. Put it in reverse. Now it goes in first. Clutch fluid level is okay. Right, so on the Toyota here, I think there's a problem with the internals of the gearbox, so we're going to send it away to a gearbox specialist to have a look at the synchros. Possibly a problem inside. The gearbox is going to need to come off and have to be have a look at from in there. So we'll leave it at that, and we're going to head to the next car. It's Jimmy here again, and our next vehicle, if you'd like to call it that, we're here looking at today is this digger. Come to look at, and it's not starting. So basically we've got the key here, the engine's underneath the seat, we've got it lifted up here. I'll just give you a quick show of what's going on. We try to start it. So it looks like it's just maybe just a flat battery. So we've got the seat up here. Underneath the engine bay, we're just connecting a negative to here, and we're going to connect our positive down here to the live on the starter motor. Can't actually find where the battery is on this. Looks like you'd have to dismantle all of the housing or casings or whatever you'd like to call it. It's a little mini digger. We're going to switch our boost pack on and we'll give it a try like this. Seems to be locking up. So what I'm going to try now is this little lever here releases the compression, and what we can try and do is release the compression, turn it, turn the starter motor, then release the compression, which might give it a kick to start. Sounds like it might got a lazy starter motor. Of course, while we're here, he wants to get his money's worth, so he's going to ask me to change the bucket, these 2 bolts. That's all done. So I think that's about all of it for today. We're gonna make our way home. I think that's about everything we have for today. Yeah. So I mean, most of the videos we're doing it on here, they're just quick, basically just quick videos showing you how everything goes. But you know, if I'm not too sure if everyone wants to see more in depth on it, or if it's better just to keep them short and sweet as we're going through the process of the repairs. But yeah, we'll see you on our next episode.